Just got a little Prat pit. A little Prat pit on the video. Very
To
nice.
open it
Good way
up.
to start, baby.
That was
Let's
good.
go. Let's go. It's too late. That's
I
staying
hope
in.
that was before you hit record. I'm sorry.
That's not getting cut.
Oh.
All right, cold cuts. We're back, dude. I'm super excited. I've been hounding our guest for probably 4 years for
Hell yeah.
interviews. So this is prolific. This is legendary. We have famous animator, extremely fresh animator, Party Prat, on Cold Cuts.
Woohoo!
Very hype. Thank you, Harris. For
Thank you
the
for
woo. That
joining
was
us.
nice.
Yeah, very
No
exciting.
problem. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, of course, of course.
Your work is really good. I was watching like some of your reels and animated like bits that you've done like leading up to this, and I was like, this shit is dope. This is extremely cool. I mean, I know you went to school for it, so I wouldn't expect any less, but it's very cool. I saw the reel that you have that's like it's called Not Cops.
Oh yeah, my old grad film.
Was it? Did you flesh it out into a full project? It was.
Yeah, I'm still working on it. It's a bit more of a world. I don't know. 'Cause at the time, it was very much. I think the thing you do in like the late thousands was develop something just like two buddies. It's adventure time. It's regular show. It's just two buddies and you do crazy shit.
Yeah.
So it's not so much that anymore. It's more of like towards the cast in the world, but there's still protagonists.
Was the
That's
one
cool.
character inspired at all by who was that No More Heroes guy?
Travis
I'm talking about
Touchdown? Yeah,
Yes, he was.
he was. He
He
really
was
is.
inspired. Okay,
It's-
cool. I got those vibes.
Very cool.
There's a lot of specific anime and like whatever sort of things that I've taken inspiration of, especially the animation style, even animating like on like 3s and 4s. So
Are you like
yeah.
totally cool working? Not really like behind the scenes. I guess animating is technically a behind the scenes job, but you're one of the few people on Twitter who like draws or just like animated stuff where I'm like, when is Pratt gonna get to have her own show? What is going on? Does that like interest you at all? Or are you kind of cool just
it does. It's just something which I've kind of learned a lot and like been mentored a lot around and have like a good idea. I mean, when you make a pitch and you pitch that, it's kind of like you're making like a pact with the devil.
Mhm.
As it turns out, like
is
I
that your
could
cat
not.
beeping?
What is that? Oh, sorry, that is my telegram. I should mute this. I have two computers here because I'm so
Pratt's in a
Computer.
top
Whoa!
secret
All right,
Antifa
money
group.
bags.
I see how this is. I see how this is.
yeah, my secret Chaz organization.
I was telling that to Harris earlier. I'm totally interrupting the answer to your question, but just so I have the info right, what were you on Tucker Carlson, or your drawing was?
My drawing was
Okay.
and it wasn't. It was like it was for a bit, and then they stopped because I just kind of posted it as bullshit because I would do open source intelligence like mapping and Syria war, Nagorno-Karabakh. And I did that jokingly for Chaz as it was happening. Like, yeah, there's basically, I'm going to do troop movements. I'm going to, geotag events. I'm going to make a little overhead map showing like jokingly, like this faction has this faction has that. And that became really popular. I can't remember. Was it Jack Posobiec or whatever? One of those assholes, they reposted it. They didn't like retweet it. They just downloaded it and reposted it.
I hate when people
So-
do that
I
shit.
know
so
why.
much.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're doing that for as long. So I'd like, when Andy Neo did it, like I kept doing new maps per day every time like people at the Chaz camp established a new area. I mean, it's mostly bullshit. I was just drawing fake lines on it, but that's now treated as like, categorical fact.
That is crazy.
It is very crazy because I had like CNN journalists, like, live in camera, like TV crews in my DMs, like, I'm here at Chaz. Can I interview you? And I'm up up in Vancouver, like, But yeah, I did. I'm pretty sure it got to Trump's desk, which is a very, very funny thought, but it was on Tucker Carlson's show. And they stopped using my maps the moment I kept putting bigger and bigger versions of my Twitter handle on it, and like hellos, like I'd write like hello Jack, so here's the new map, then like my user handle, or like hello Andy to go, and yeah, they stopped after that because they don't like it when, I guess like as a like angry right wing thing, they just didn't want me to be credited.
Powerful.
That is crazy.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, Destiny has done that to me a few times, and then refused to come on Cold Cuts. I'm like, "What's going on, big guy? What's going on?"
Oh, I didn't even know that
Destiny
you
sucks.
were
I don't know Destiny very well, but he looks and sounds like he sucks.
He just seems like he has tiny man syndrome. Severely. So yeah.
Sounds
Anyway,
about right.
before I interrupt my first question, and then immediately cut you off, when are we getting the Prat TV show?
Prat TV shows, yeah. I originally wanted, when I worked at Tidmouse, I was hoping to get it pitched through them. So I did 2 short films based off of Not Cops through that, and that's a typical way of doing it. I mean, Mau Mau, the cartoon show Mau Mau, started as a Titmouse 5-second day thing. That was my hope too, but then I realized that Vancouver kind of exists in a little kids table, and so I would never, unless I work directly for LA. I mean, I work directly for LA right now, but I don't want to pitch. And I've had a lot of like, I've taken like showrunners, like people who've put out TV shows, like they're the ideas guy. I took them out to the bar before, and they'd kind of like almost like dejectedly, like angrily drinking, like, yeah, you never go and pitch something you care about, because they'll take all the rights for it, and then maybe they'll decide not to make the show, and then you'll never be able to touch that ever again because it's locked away until their little rights box.
Jeez.
So there's a lot of really sad artists who are like, I had my idea from when I was a little kid, and I never got that made, and it's just locked away, and now I'll never get my rights back for that. So
have you thought about making something brand new? Because I'm assuming you've been doing like
I have a few ideas. The thing is I've learned not to, like the hard way, not to talk about my ideas so much, because there was a guy who I excitedly talked about my ideas with, and then he started getting a pitch done, which is almost just like the thing which I was telling him about. And he actually had the connections. He got like a pitch document put together, and I was like, I'm never gonna talk about my ideas ever again.
That's so
I do have.
fucked.
It is really fucked. It's very cutthroat. It is very, there's a lot of idea mining going on.
It's insane. There's like not more protection though.
Hollywood.
Because there's this dude. I think I've told you this, Harris, when we were like talking in the phone. But there's this guy I made a connection with. He's very cool. Do like my dad's friend, and I think his wife is like the head of Netflix animation or whatever. But I was like hanging out at his house, and he was talking about pitching stuff, and then he was like, "Dude, I got to show you this." And I don't think either of you have probably seen this movie. Are you aware of The Nut Job?
No. Yeah.
With the squirrel. It's like this squirrel heist movie. But he was like, dude,
that's a great name for a squirrel heist movie.
That's a powerful name, but I don't think the movie might have been that good. But he was like, look at this, and he showed me like a production Bible he made himself that was literally all the same characters, the whole plot. And he was like, I pitched this to, I think not Will Arnett, Will Forte's studio. And then they said they didn't want it. And then literally 3 months later, they made Nut Job. Yeah, and I was like, that's insane to me.
No, that'll happen. The moment you walk in, you told them it's now their intellectual property.
Why can't you sue though if you already have like the do you literally have to get everything copyright? I'm retarded. I don't know how you
fucking could. Well, I mean, it's like if they can't like use like drawings, they can't use like very specific like citable things. But if it's just an idea or you just floated something to somebody.
Well, I think it was a literal pitch, which is why I thought it would be semi-protected. But
did the guy leave a copy of the pitch with them?
I'm not sure, but I do know the story ends sadly because he was like, "But who cares? Because this is what I'm doing with him now." Squirrel NFTs, and I was just like,
no,
I don't know about that one, bro. He was like, he's so big into NFTs, and was like, you gotta check this shit out. Check this shit out. It was like showing me on his phone when we went out to get lunch one time, and it was like, dude, look, and he opened his Spider-Man NFT and then was doing that VR thing that literally any device can do since the 3DS, where like you look through the screen and then Spider-Man is like sitting
Yeah,
on the
Mhm.
floor, and he's like,
classic.
"Isn't that sick?" And I'm just like, "Dude, I don't fucking care."
Yeah,
You make
that's
Spider-Man appear, like who
It's like
gives
the National Geographic, like here's a lion. You can
Yeah.
see it in your living room.
Oh
you
yeah,
see the
love
real
that one.
size
It's
of it.
like
It's
Yeah.
like,
a 5-year-old would be interested in that for like
yes.
3 days, and then they would go back to playing Fortnite or something.
We should have
Yeah.
NFTs literally should have been made for preschoolers. I feel like that would have been like the perfect
That would have been a
demographic,
moneymaker.
dude.
Here you go, kids. Do you want to be venture capitalists?
Absolutely based.
I get promoted shit on my Instagram from time to time that people are paying to sponsor their line of NFTs. Like I think they're self-starting, and it's like the most hideous, like vile art I've ever seen. I'm like, and I check the comments and everybody's just like, bro, delete this. Like you need to get rid of this shit. But it's like, it's crazy. People are still running with it, and I think people have it in their head that the art has to be bad for it to sell because those monkeys were the first ones.
That's what I don't get. Like you could easily
Weird.
pay you could underpay some artists to make good shit, but it's always like the most half-assed, like head to
Yeah.
torso.
I don't know why that.
Well, also
became
it's
the-
like they're exploiting artists. Like they,
yeah.
you know, the person who made the monkey NFT things, you know, she got fucking shafted. It's just like it's just money guys, and they're just trying to sell the hype, not selling the art.
Right.
There's a lot of really sad artists who are doing these really beautiful like pieces, and then maybe one person will buy it for, you know, you could like do 3 furry commissions for and make as much money as like one your top NFT.
I'm trying to get Harris into the
Into
furry commission grind
thing.
to get the
Oh yeah,
money.
that is just like it's just there's a lot of, you know, gays in tech, and they're also furries, and they have those 200K salaries, and you're gonna put all of that into their VR rig for VR chat, and then furry art, lots and lots of furry art.
Yeah, I love when
So,
people assume furries aren't rich, because it's like, dude, do you know how much one furry suit costs? That's
Yeah.
it's like 10K unless you want to look like a
yeah,
or something.
I mean, I'm glad it's that, because it's like, you know, I have friends now that that's their livelihood. Like they'll sell one thing, they take 3 months to make it, and they'll like bang, and then they'll spend those 3 months just hanging out, working on this thing someone's gonna come all over, and then that covers their rent for like a third of the year or half of the year.
That
I
is
have
crazy.
friends who have bought
powerful.
houses on it with
Dang,
that.
maybe I do need to
Jesus
get into
Christ,
this.
yeah, dude, do it,
It's
Harris.
kind of outrageous.
I don't think my art's good enough. I did one furry commission one time, and the
Nice.
guy had me draw him being fucked by a Fuda bunny, and I was
I have
literally
got to see that,
Dude,
bro.
I-
have
dude.
to
Someone
see
commissioned you for
Try.
that?
someone literally
Was
commissioned
that
me
like the
for that.
level of like, yeah, I just need to make money?
I was just like, he was kind of like a friend, so I was like, I'm all right, I'll just do it. But then it's like, the first thing is like, dude, are you? I don't think my style lends itself to jacking off to. It literally looks like
You'd be surprised.
it's like Down syndrome Seth MacFarlane. Like I don't know how you're gonna get like a chubby.
Well, there
singer.
are like, you know, furries who are like, you know, they chain smoke, and then they put cigarettes out on each other's arms, and like, you know, they're into that sort of like grungy sort of.
If you're listening to this, grungy furries, contact me. I'll draw more Fuda bunnies. But dude, they
Yeah.
posted it a few months ago, and they're like, "I remember when I commissioned this from YOLO," and I immediately DM'd them like, "Bro, I have
Please.
never asked anything
No,
from you. Please,
bro, but
delete
please
this.
do not."
Please delete this." I was like, "Please, God."
It is kind of crazy. Like it felt like furries, even as recently as like 5 years ago, at least in my circle, seemed really niche. Like I didn't know anybody personally that was a furry, and it's like totally had this boom. Like, I mean, maybe it was always there and I didn't see it because I wasn't really like active online so much, but it feels like half of the world's population is like a furry, basically.
Or
That's-
See,
super
well,
furry.
well, if you sign off Twitter, then you'll never see a single one ever again.
Yeah, it's probably
That's the
true.
thing. It's just
Uh,
that all the furries have they've left very like much more problematic websites, and they all kind of landed on Twitter, not sure where to go from there, and now they're all just kind of stuck there, and have thusly proliferated.
What are we
Have
talking about?
either of
Fur
you-
affinity?
Yeah, Fur Affinity is
Fur
one
Affinity?
of those.
Or like deviant art. That's the one I used to
DeviantArt.
associate with it. Have either
Oh,
of you
yeah.
ever like attended a fur con, or would you ever attend
Oh,
like
yeah.
one of those like furry?
They're
You've
fun.
been? Are
Well,
they
Pratt,
fun?
you're a furry, right? Or no? You're
Yeah.
okay. Powerful. This is the
What-
first furry we've had on the pod, technically.
Well, that we know of.
Right.
Rusty might be. one.
Rusty might be.
I have a
furry.
hunch. He
And
might be.
Vosh, his body is
Vosh?
furry, so I don't. You know,
His body is in the misshapen style of a
Uh-huh.
person.
He's, you know what? I'll shout him out though. He has gotten in a little bit more shape. He
he
not
looks
he
svelte.
doesn't have
He
the
looks-
potato sack build anymore. Yeah.
That's right.
Oh.
Do
Look, Alex Jones build.
Yeah. Oh yeah, where
That
he gets
photo.
redder.
3 weeks later.
I've become more frog.
Oh, yo, Harris who was the guy that stole that comic from you?
Tim Pool.
Tim
Pool.
Tim Pool.
That fucking asshole.
I know. He reposted my Alex Jones comic on his Instagram, and which I was like, that's kind of fucking crazy. And then I made a post on my story that I was like, yo, thank you for the shout out, lil bro. If I ever see you in real life, I will kill you, basically. And then and it was right before I went on a vacation, and when I got back and I got service back on my phone, my first notification was that Instagram was like, your post has violated our community guidelines, and I was like, you
I
fucking
fucking hate Instagram.
pussy.
dude. Absolutely fucking.
It's really funny. That recently just seeing that thing going around where right-wing people were just kind of like, we need to like stop funding super PACs. We need to start funding artists. And like, actually, I think it was Jack Posobiec who quote retweeted it, like, yeah, I agree. It's like people who have money, they could do that. And then also to people like Tim Pool ripping off artists and posting things
Right.
uncredited. It's like they, I guess their whole ideology is about like annoying and like disrespecting artists, but they kind of want to have art.
Twitter
The
even-
right is getting better at art, and the left is getting scared.
There's a Peter Thiel. I don't know if it's Peter Thiel, but there was like a right-wing art contest. We're gonna find the greatest art, and the winning piece was like a Photoshop with like a Sonorad and like a frog or something. Like
Yeah,
a really bad.
I'm pretty sure our buddy was involved in that, right, Harris?
Who?
Bo?
What?
Because
What?
it's it's Dime Square, right?
Oh,
I'm
Oh,
totally talking out of my
those
ass.
silly fuckers.
Yeah, but
it's
aren't
like
they
all coming
funded by
full
Thiel?
circle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thiel
he's
is
like
their-
involved
is
in
their
Dime
money
Square
guy.
or whatever. It's like very weird, but he's like a super left, so I don't know if he's like fully aware.
Thiel?
No, our buddy,
Oh.
who's like in the Dime
Oh,
Square thing.
I kind of like get it. I mean, for like artists and a lot of creatives, they'll take what they can get and like it's the scene.
Yeah.
But I just really do like the adversarial nature of Manhattan versus Brooklyn writ
Yes.
large, because any New York person is going to treat their little city like it's the whole world.
That's fair. Yeah. Dude, here's a question that just made me think of, like, are either of you guys genuinely concerned with AI art, or do you think that people are freaking out for no reason?
I am, but I am for like the reason of like I've seen what happens. Like when it's very similar to when concept art, when like speed painting and like photo bashing became huge. That's when artist teams of like 10 concept artists became one artist, and all these people lost their jobs because it's like we can get one person to bash out this matte painting in 24 hours. Why do we need all these other artists? But AI art, it's like that sort of thing. There's like a lot of video games people who have moved into animation specifically because there's less work, there's less paying work for certain kind of artists on in games, unless it's like a fun little startup like mobile studio or something.
Yeah. I could see how you two as good artists are fucked, but I think if you asked a computer to make a YOLO swag comic, it would kill itself.
I would be really curious what that would.
There's that one AI.
totally
There's that
not.
one AI which writes really, really good, accurate 4chan green tech stories, that is what makes me worried.
That's good.
Oh yeah, you're fucked if that comes through.
Yeah, if they, like, the thing is like, it as it is now, I'm not worried, but in 10 years maybe I would be a little worried, because I don't think it's like, artists, it's not going to be on the level of like us, but that doesn't matter.
Mhm.
It's what the studio wants. If the studio wants to do that, that's why like
I don't
there's like
know.
almost no production work in LA anymore. It's all done in like Canada and the Philippines.
Don't
and
say that to
whatever.
Harris, because I'm trying to get him to move out here, and he's trying to get a job. So
There's
don't
work.
spook him. Yes, thank you.
There's
Thank you.
animation work. There's specific kinds of animation work.
Yeah.
Just reminds me of my one friend who wants to be an animator for SpongeBob, and it's like all of our animation services are done in it's done in Korea.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Is that just because I don't like, this is probably proof that I'm like naive and small brained and have a low IQ, but isn't it like wouldn't it be a bigger selling point to say everything is made like in house or like from the country it's producing in, or like studios just don't give a shit? They just want it cheaper.
They don't give a shit. I mean, because a lot of artists, and when working for LA, they make six figures, and then artists in, say, Vancouver, Canada, do the same amount of work, do the same work. Actually, I think they work more, but they only make 40,000 US per
Damn.
year, and then it's even less if it's in East Asia. So
That's fucked.
That is crazy.
that's why they're like, oh, there's time zone problems and some miscommunications, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
From the studio's perspective.
Yo, we'll get to them in the next block. I think we're doing one more, but we actually do have some questions about you working on SpongeBob and the process from the patrons. Very, very hip.
From the patrons.
Yeah.
Yes, the patrons. But we're both very poor, so we have the free version of Zoom, so it's about to cut us off in
I see
4 minutes.
The time
countdown.
Excellent, yeah. So I'll take a little Siggy break and chug like 3 or 4, and I'll we'll
Come
reappear.
back.
My lungs are so fucked, dog. The past like 3 months, I've been waking up like I'm in so much pain. I need a cigarette.
Dude, when I first picked up the phone when you called me today, you sounded like you were dying. Like
I
you were
was. I
you were
was legit
str-
dying.
Like, you were straight up like, and I'm like, "Are you all right?" You're like, "I feel terrible." I'm like, "Are you sick?" You're like, "No, my lungs are just hurting." I was like, "Bro, just put down the
They
fucking
literally
camels,
feel like
please."
in college when you have your little pipe that you never clean out and then you eventually scrape it out and there's just like
Yes.
this much
Oh,
of fucking
God.
crud. I feel that in my lungs, dude, as I'm like moving. It's like so
That
painful.
is horrifying.
What are you sipping on?
Sapporo.
Oh, let's
Whoa,
go.
Neon Genesis. Isn't that in Neon Genesis or no? I think it
that
is.
right?
So cool.
I have no
So
idea.
cool.
That's
Damn,
like, you know
we
those
would have gotten drunk, but I totally forgot.
maybe I still will. Do you know those soy jack memes that are like beer and he's like angry and then it's like beer Japan and he's like,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's me. That's me when I was thinking like, oh yeah, I have a beer in the fridge.
Yeah, I love that. I'll crack a beer too. I have some
I
downstairs.
don't fucking have any. I have a pen. I'll hit my little vape pen.
Insert
Yeah.
it through Matrix style through the camera.
Oh, let's go.
Thank you. I thought you were getting up to show us more pit, like at the beginning of the episode, but
Oh, hell yeah.
I guess not. I thought we were gonna get some Prat feet, baby.
That's rare. I can't even post midriff. I can't post a lot of things on Twitter because there'll always be people who be like,
You used to post that shit all the time. I remember you posted.
It's very funny. It's very funny. There's on my Discord, there's like the Hierophant of the Belly. Like there's like a bunch of cultists who just showed up and they're like,
What?
yeah, and they're like there's like 8 inactive accounts and they're all called Hierophant of the Belly. And like
based.
all they
What
would
the
do
hell?
is
What's
post
going
belly.
Yeah, the Prat lore is crazy. You also have I don't even remember the lore behind it, but a paper poster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think before my career started getting nicer. I was doing like a Tumblr ass thing. I had like a huge following there.
An ass
And-
thing?
Yeah, an ask thing, not ask.
Oh,
not an
Or like-
ass
I was
thing. I heard
like,
ass
like-
thing
is
too.
this
like-
website still up? Is this? I need to check it. Is this still up?
Just like knocking things over. I gotta go. Gotta go see. No, it was like people would anonymously ask. Because I enjoy putting an anonymous ask because you do get like some of the best posts ever.
I would animate some
I'm
of
an
these.
image-
I remember.
Yeah, like
first
people
time I
just
saw it, yes.
like post really, really like funny like bits. And one person almost every other day would post, I like paper to my box. So he became
Okay.
like a figure.
Powerful.
That's
The lore, the
interesting.
legend.
Would you ever consider firing that back up, the Tumblr page? Is it still there?
I was thinking it. It is still there. It's my
I remember the
my
name all of a
Tumblr.
sudden.
It's called
Diarrhea.
Star Hip Hop.
Yes.
What? That's awesome.
This is all rushing back to me. Holy shit.
Yeah. It was
Incredibly
like
powerful.
it was like a political blog / silly art blog.
That's great.
Yeah, you did a lot of Assad posting, right?
I did. Well, I
Yes.
did again. That's the
Geopolitical mapping.
yeah, the OSINT thing. So I was
Yeah.
following. I'd be like, oh, the YPG, they're here. You know, this video which they posted here where they took this place back from ISIS that's located here. Here's a map showing how they could advance. That was what I was doing.
We're back. We're
We're
back. I've destroyed my lungs in the break. I'm dying.
That's good.
Where were we at when it died?
I don't
know.
even remember.
Well, I had a question that I wanted to ask because
Okay.
there was a really old interview with you, Prat, like from 2014 when you were still a student and you were talking about like game design. Well, first one I wanted to ask, are you
Yeah, I
still-
wanted to do that originally.
but
I
you
mean,
don't do that
also,
anymore. Or
I was
you
I
don't?
think that was SIGGRAPH. It was definitely like a video game thing. So me being there, I was like, I love video games. I want a video game job. So that's like the way I went into that interview.
Uh-huh. But when
Um,
did you decide that that wasn't the path you wanted to go on anymore?
When I did an internship and it sucked.
Really?
Who was
there was,
it? What studio? Can you
Yeah, throw them under the
leak?
bus.
The studio's dead. I think it's
Really?
called Nine Tool Studio, but like they're
Based.
working. I was very excited, and they got me to do work for them for free, which sucks. I mean, it was like 2011
that's
or
shitty.
2010 or some shit. So I was like still in school. I was like, oh boy, I want to do fucking video games. And I think the video game we're going to do is very fun. They had me doing the art stuff so that they could like pitch it. So it's going to be a like you know this the Scott Pilgrim game you can
Yeah.
get on Xbox. Yeah, so it's going to be like that, but Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sounds kind of
Huh.
cool. That sounds really
Yeah,
cool.
the idea was it's gonna be like a sequel to that where they go to Hong Kong. So I was doing like concept art of like alleyways in Hong Kong and like those big rolling hill cemeteries where there's a big fight. And
Wow.
I was being exploited the whole time. So and the game obviously went nowhere because that was like we're just creating like a packet of material to like ask like, hey, can we get the rights to do this this game for Xbox Arcade? And
Oh,
I
did
don't
they
think
not
it
even
happened.
have the
Did it
rights?
happen?
No, it's very common for like a lot of smaller studios. They'll just start working on something, then have the thing like have as like a little booklet, like their own little pitch thing, or they go to the right holder, like the original filmmaker, and like, we want to make this. And they'll be
Oh.
like inking on paper, like, yes, you can, and then they'll go and do that.
Damn.
Oh, word. Yeah, I remember there was drama with the Scott Pilgrim one you mentioned. I'm pretty sure you can't even download it anymore. I don't know if they
Probably
like
not.
lost the rights or something, but I don't know. I've never been big into the side scrolling beat 'em up games. I think they were before my time.
Yeah, I like
Mhm.
the Simpsons game for the like the arcade based one. Do you know
Yeah,
what I'm talking
oh, yeah.
about? That one's fun. Like it's called like Simpsons Pound Town or something crazy like that. But the
Simpsons
Oh,
Pound
baby.
Town.
well, do you still play video games? Like, are you still? Like,
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
do. Actually
'cause
started playing Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, really?
It was
That's
very
fun.
good. I pulled up to like a gay bar and there's like these caricatures of trans women. I was shocked at that, and I'm still shocked that he started attacking me. So we had like
When
a
they started
full-on
attacking
fight.
you.
Where can you
Wow.
find them in the game?
You go,
I'm
you
just-
go to,
I'm
you go, you go to
curious.
Vine. I'm just curious.
Yeah, let me
Well,
just-
you know, it's like that very cartoonish, mean way of portraying a trans woman, where it's just like a 6'5" buff guy wearing like a tutu and skinny
yeah.
string bra. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. I just watched the movie. I had never seen Risky Business. Did you guys ever watch that movie?
No.
With it, you've never seen it? That the
No.
one where it's like
Well,
like
if there's gonna be a caricature which will upset me in there, I'll probably won't watch it. But.
No, well, actually, it was like there is a trans woman in the movie that shows up that's like a prostitute. That's the whole theme of the movie, is that he hires he's like a high school kid that. It was not a good movie, but it was like whatever. But the first girl that shows up is a trans woman, and like I was actually somewhat surprised that because the movie came out in like 1983, like it's old now. Tom Cruise looks like he's like 16 in the movie, and like I was actually surprised that like it was, to my eye, like relatively inoffensive, like not like it actually.
Was it like a trans woman cast for the role?
I don't know if it was a real.
I
don't know if she was really.
They usually
trans
do
girl.
they usually just do like a guy who's like a creep, or they just cast like a
No.
cis woman who.
I don't know. She did
happens
not.
to be
She
trans
like
in
she
the
wasn't
plot.
creepy. It wasn't over the top. Like I think when he opened the door and there was a trans woman standing there, my immediate reaction was just like, oh god, what the fuck is going to happen in this movie? Man, this is gonna be like, and it actually was not as like sideways as I.
You were
expected it to
offended
be.
they even made a trans woman a
No,
character.
it wasn't
I
that.
can't
was
believe
just like,
I was forced to.
It's just the
I'm,
shit.
I'm
in
trying to
Yo,
find a picture. Oh, that's where that picture of Tom Cruise.
This
is
isn't
from?
the
That's great.
one
In
with
the
Alec
80s,
Baldwin's
it's just-
brother, is it?
It's I don't know if he's in it, but it's like Tom Cruise. I think it might even be his first movie. Like he looks really young in it, and it still wasn't a great movie. But like I don't know, in the 80s, like in the 90s, and even the 2000s, they did not know how the fuck to handle any LGBT characters like in shows. Basically, it was in movies. It's always weird.
Dude,
Like,
Daff
crazy.
showed me this documentary we were watching. I totally forget the name of the movie, but the whole thing, it's what's the other Baldwin brother that acts? Whoever
There's
he
like
is,
5 of them. Yeah,
Billy Baldwin.
It might.
Is it?
That sounds familiar. Billy Baldwin. No,
Or
it was
Chris
like
Baldwin.
Could be.
the whole movie is about this guy dating a trans woman. So they hired a trans woman, and she's like, she's a great actress. She was really good, and she did her recording. And then the movie came out, and they didn't even tell her they were going to do this, but they were like, the producer or director was essentially like, you seemed too much like a regular woman, so we lowered the decibel on all your lines.
No!
They literally gave her a man
Oh my
voice, and it was
God.
like, what the fuck? Like, why
Why?
did you do that, dude?
What the fuck was going
This is
on?
like absolutely ass behavior. Dude,
Oh.
we got to burn through these Patreon questions because I already know we are going to fucking forget them. So, for
Right,
starters,
right.
this is the one I'm extremely interested in. Also, cup size, Prat. What's the official Prat
Is that
cup
really the
size?
first one?
It's in there. It's not the first one, but
That wasn't the
I have
first
it
one, but
highlighted.
I had to get to it.
I
you
have
know.
it highlighted.
44D.
Beast.
Base.
Beast.
Base.
God damn. I didn't know we had Keffels on the podcast.
Oh my
Miss
God,
Jugs
here we
over
go.
here. Hey,
Here we
hey.
go.
This that bitch.
Yeah, I love how everyone was like hating on Keffels, and then as soon as she posted a picture where she was like super jugged up, there were all these like,
was like-
Everyone going,
I was
mommy.
all
yeah,
like,
literally, I was
yeah.
like, whew,
I don't know.
alrighty.
You look at all the other comments from every tweet she's made the last 2 months, and all the things are just like angry, like crazy. And then she posts a selfie, and people are like, "Oh my god, I just made this my lock screen."
Milk.
Milky,
Mommy
milk,
milk.
It's like, please, what the fuck is going on?
That's great.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
What size
That's
did you
just
say again?
funny.
Let me just write that down.
Oh,
I'm totally
God.
kidding. I'm totally kidding. Sexually assaulting our guests on accident.
Good
All right.
God.
Here's an actual in-depth
Oh,
question.
you did ask though. You did a consent thing.
I had to.
Yeah.
I had to get that going.
Mhm.
This is from Grunkle, one of our favorite patrons.
Uncle.
Yes.
Without Steven Hillenberg working on the show with his passing 3 years ago, do you think he left a void in the studio or had things been running smoothly in his absence? Also, how do you think the modern seasons are compared to the original run of the show?
Um, trying to think of how I should respond to that one. But yeah, there's a void. I mean, my time is after that, but um, there's a lot of sweetness, especially in the studio, like a lot of deference and like respect. I mean, a lot of the original crew is still there.
Yeah, I'm assuming most of
Even
them are huge fans, even if they're newer.
yeah. It's like it's very interesting 'cause it's like there's like even like on like the work server, it's like, you know, his personal folder is still there. It's very like there I don't know. There's a lot of respect, and I mean kind of like, you know, SpongeBob to Nickelodeon, it's like that's their like, you know, flagship show, right? Their flagship property. So they treat the artists very well. I don't know. It's very interesting. It's like it's like it's working in there is definitely like, yeah, you're working on SpongeBob. They have like a tiki bar, and there's like,
Really?
you know,
That's sick.
thatched roof things over the offices and stuff.
Are they
Like
still
that they
playing? Are they still playing Ocean Man by Ween over the loudspeakers like 24/7 on repeat? Because that's why I wanted
No,
to work
sadly
there in the
no.
first place. Oh, they stopped.
They should make it would be so cool if all the mouse pads were like sandy cheeks with like huge tits.
Oh yeah.
That would be so
The
thoughtful.
to the second part of the question, I think the new season's pretty fun. I mean, now it's kind of come full circle in a sense, like, you know, I was like 9 when I first saw SpongeBob, and now I'm working on it. You know,
That's
my
so cool.
directors, it's like, so you have fans of the show working on it now, and so
That's gotta
a lot of
feel
this-
crazy.
it is very crazy. I'm still like, it's still surreal to me all these years. Like I was when I went to go work in house for a bit, I was like not dissociated, but I was just kind of like, people were talking to me and I'd be like, sorry, what was that? I was just kind of admiring this Invader Zim thing right here. Like I
Yeah.
can't believe I'm here right now. But yeah, there's a lot of like references to the older episodes. A lot. It's interesting. I mean, something which I hear a lot is it's very weird. It's much weirder than it used to be. But I think that's also just
What kind of
I don't
weird?
know.
What do you mean? The show itself, you feel like is weird?
Yeah, like the plot lines or like whatever. I mean, I have
Okay.
no idea. I mean,
It was always weird.
it was
It
always
was
weird is
always-
the thing. Yeah, I just think it's like a lot of the people working on it now, they are also fans of like that era, that time. So it's like, you know, big fans of like, you know, Ren and Stimpy. I mean, already the show is kind of like a bit like that. You have like the gross close-ups and stuff.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think as far as like long run shows go, it's doing pretty well for itself. I mean, the whole property
yeah.
is like doing pretty big. We got 2 big spin-off shows. We had a movie which just came out like a couple of years ago.
I mean, that show, like, I can't think of any other show from our childhood that has survived by memes alone. Like the repurposing of images and moments from that show
Yeah.
now in like, which is crazy. I mean, obviously when the show was written, when most of that stuff happened, memes as we know them didn't even exist. Like nothing even close to it existed. So the fact that like some of those like classic SpongeBob moments are repurposed now, like day to day and like
Yeah.
constantly, it will just never die. I think it will always be part of like, I mean, maybe when we're a lot older things will be different, but it
Mhm.
feels like it has survived a long time already. We're talking
It's
about
doing pretty well. It's
crazy. Yeah, it's a great property. I loved that show growing up.
even the spin-off Patrick Star show is still doing pretty well. I think the second season is in progress right now.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, the big difference between Patrick and SpongeBob is like script, like outline driven, and the Patrick show is like board driven. So it's like the board artists.
That's cool.
So so the board artists have a lot of fun. I know that the Lost Storyboard artists really badly. Like they especially want to work for the Patrick Star show just because it gives them the ability to like really kind of like have some sort of like creative ownership over something, like, oh yeah, I boarded and wrote this.
That's cool.
I think Cartoon Network generally does that. I think like Craig of the Creek, there's a lot of shows that are just like board driven. The two artists, two board artists are put together, and then they come up with the story, and then they board it. So it's like they're going back and forth, like trying to figure out what's the best way to do the story. So,
Are you you do backgrounds, or do you actually do storyboards?
I do
Or do you
store.
a mix?
I do background design. So
Okay.
yeah, so I'm like right after boards. I mean, I'm like concurrent with like when character and props are doing their thing, but then I get the boards and then I make the backgrounds. I do the key backgrounds for it.
Yeah, I know you always post like little clips sometimes. There was
Yeah,
also like a movie you worked on. It was like a Hilda, that little
yeah.
girl with
I
blue
worked
hair.
on Hilda. Yeah,
Yeah, that shit was cool. I always like this is very
they
cringe.
credited me wrong.
Did they?
Yeah, they spelled my name wrong in the end.
Really?
It's better than that. It's better than how bad or how dirty Warner Brothers did me, because they didn't even credit me on Animaniacs.
Oh, you
that's
worked on the new
fine.
one?
Yeah, I worked on the new one.
How is that? Is that legal to not credit you? I mean,
No, well, it sucks. There's nothing I can do about it.
That's
what
crazy.
you didn't work on that anime scene, did you?
I did. That's what I did. I was doing cleanup animation for that.
Wow.
That's so
Yeah.
sick. That part
That's
was so
fucking
dope.
dope. Yeah,
I
I saw
love
that.
whenever your name pops up. It's happened to me twice where I had no idea you were involved.
Yeah.
The Rick and Morty Australian episode.
Yeah,
With the
the
snake.
Michael Cusick Rick and Morty one. I animated the snake and Morty getting his dick bit.
Yes.
That was lots of fun. I was
Incredibly
really kind of
fresh.
sad because I did this what I really loved about working on that was Michael Cusick and Jake Gantz. They're looking for all the shitpost artists and animators they knew, which is why they grabbed me. And it said like, kind of make it look like, Michael's Flash animation style, but if you make it look bad, great. That's hilarious. Just do whatever. We're trying to make it everyone just do your own thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's cool.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna draw this very crude Morty face screaming with like teeth all the way around his mouth. And but
That's
like the
awesome.
snake is gonna be very beautifully rendered and animated, like coming up from behind the tree. And then I think background or comp, they put like a bush in front of the snake, and I was like, oh no, they probably did that because the snake was too well animated.
Oh wow.
But that was very fun. I remember going to a music festival in there, and I went to EDC, and like there's like a corner of the music festival where they're just looping that special, and me and my friend, we started dying laughing because being high on drugs and then seeing the animation, which I did playing like just randomly in the middle of the music festival, killed me.
Yeah, I would shit my pants. That's fucking
Yeah, I worked
sick.
on that, and I think because of my time working on that, I also worked on the pilot for Smiling Friends.
That was my next one that I saw you in the credits or whatever. Wait, so you just did the pilot?
Just the pilot, yeah, because the pilot was done by Yada, also like Studio Yada. I think there's a lot of Yada artists who worked on the rest of the show, but it was like mostly for the Australian artists because it was done in Australia.
Now, is it different with each show, or like, so with you on SpongeBob, do you work on every episode, or does it?
That's my full-time
Okay.
job. So
So what was the reason you wouldn't be working on every episode of Smiling Friends? Is that just run differently?
because it's a pilot, and I already had a full-time job. I just really badly wanted to work on Smiling Friends. And actually, it's fun. I'm still in the pilot Discord group for it.
That's cool.
They have like a little gif of the blibbly I love using in other chats. Sorry, what was that question again?
You answered it. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I
Are either of your parents a cat? Because you have like the most perfect little like cat cleft thing going on. What's going on with that?
don't know.
That's good. I was going to ask this earlier because one of the questions that you were asked in that really old interview I was referencing at the very end, they were like, where do you see video games going? And do you remember what you answered?
I don't know. I don't remember.
You gave like a very astute response, and I think but I wanted to hear if you think this is true. But it's like, you basically were criticizing video games at that time because you were like everything feels like a Call of Duty clone and all the colors are just like gray and brown
Yeah.
and it all looks like shit. So we're probably going to see a lot of game developers making, I'm paraphrasing, but like making like colorful, animated, like unique looking
Yeah.
character designs, and that's where I'd like to see things go. Do you think that happened? Like, do you think that
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
I
I
think
would say so too.
it got really played out, really dumb, got really
Yeah.
stupid. I mean, Team Fortress 2 really kind of like showed you could do that and be fucking successful.
For sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because like that whole gray and bloom, as like B would say, that whole thing came off of like that Modern Warfare 2, like the original one, and coming off of like Halo, just because like shooters on consoles fucking took off. That was like the thing, and then everyone was trying to do. I mean, like the PS2 game Black. Have you ever played it?
No.
Oh, you should. I think that's like the model. That's the penultimate. Like that came out at the very end of the PlayStation 2's lifetime, but it's
called
basically
Black?
It's called Black. It's just so it's really interesting because it definitely seems like it stylistically locked in how that. I think that came out, and I think a lot of game designers like that's fucking cool.
Oh yeah, this
Like,
literally looks like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was PlayStation 2, and I think after that was the direction things went.
Interesting.
Until it got extremely played out.
It did. It still feels like there's still games that come out in that same thing. Yeah.
Just reminds me of the piss filter they use whenever a show's in like Mexico or something. It's just like so fucking overplayed.
It's very funny. It's like if I think of my time recently when I was in Mexico City, it's very lush. It's very beautiful. It's very green there.
Yeah, were you shocked everything wasn't yellow?
Everything wasn't yellow and
not yellow. They don't give you the amber like vision glasses when you get off the plane there.
No.
Like,
I actually really love Mexico City. You should go. It's like, how do I describe it? It's like if in the middle of LA, if you imagine LA where it's like super dense, like think of like parts of like Koreatown. If it was like this relatively really dense all throughout, and in the middle of nowhere there's like an old Aztec ruin or like some like old like temple base just in the middle of a park in the middle of the city.
That's very cool.
Very crazy sounding birds. Like
oh really? That's cool.
Yeah, that was like the other thing which was very jarring. It's like, oh yeah, this is like on the cusp of a tropical area, right? And it was like thunder and lightning every fucking day. It was very cool.
Oh really? That it was very dry.
No, it's like beachy, right?
No, it's it's like a highland. It's very cool. It was 2025, which I think is about 80 something for you guys. It was very chill. It was very good. And then I went to Mazatlan, and then that was the sepia filter.
Oh, that
was 105, 110 day and night. It was like unrelenting humidity.
Yeah, it's a bit much. Are there any games you're playing right now that you would like recommend? Is there something that you are playing that you like?
Don't say God
on my
of War.
Steam.
God
the new God of War. I recently beat that.
Was it good?
Yeah. You got so much shit for that.
It's good.
Yeah, dude. Our buddy AJ was like hit me up about that comic and was like, "Dude, the new God of War is really good. You shouldn't make fun of it." And I was like, "Fuck, all right."
I guess I can't do that. I've been playing XCOM 2.
Isn't that the shitty one? Or am I thinking of a different one?
I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. And then I've been playing Generation Zero a lot, but like solo.
What is that?
It's like DayZ, but instead of zombies, it's like robots.
Oh, is it it's live though?
It's okay.
It's like an online game.
I just like the walk around, alone. Like, it's supposed to be a co-op game, but when you play,
is she frozen for you too?
Yeah. Wait. Oh.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if it was just me.
Oh yeah, me too. I was like, huh. All right, let me
hang on.
Let me shoot her a message real quick.
What happened? Dude, the fucking Brazilians are seething over this.
Dude, I fucking love it.
No,
I
a lot
let
of the
me,
Brazilians, because honestly, Brazil, shout out to them, are very good memers, and so a lot of them are posting really funny memes. And reply, dude, this picture just cracked me up. It's because the other one besides Brazil is Croatia, and they just posted Saul Goodman standing proudly in front of the Croatian flag. That is so good.
Dude,
Holy shit,
the
that's funny.
Saul Goodman memes are so fucking
So good.
crispy, dude.
So good.
Ugh.
Oh my god, man.
Let's see.
Excuse me.
Let's see if she's coming in. She just said rut-row, like
What happened?
Scooby-Doo, so we shall see. We shall see.
I'm gonna stop reading the quote tweets to this one. I think it's just getting to because a lot of them are like,
Are people
oh
just
my
getting
god.
grumpier?
I think people are getting a little angry. I think it was like lighthearted in the beginning, and now it's devolving into like he's in the. Do you know the? Oh my god! I just saw this tweet, but I've seen it before. It's this meme that's like somebody sends a photoshopped image to Cristiano Ronaldo, and it's like a Photoshop picture of him kissing some other soccer player, like some male soccer player, and then he responds with a voice memo of him like screaming back in like Portuguese, like just like like I don't know what he's saying. It's so funny, but that's what I'm picturing. These like screaming raging.
All right,
Brazilians.
I think she just okay. I removed her one thing because it was frozen. All right,
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna resend you the link in 2 seconds.
Okay, that sounds
Okay,
good.
yeah,
That
let me
sounds
do
good.
that. All right, Prat totally fucked everything up, but we're back. We are back.
Back.
All right, let me pull up one last Patreon question, just so they don't murder us. Oh, trash bins. I love this, man.
Yes.
What does your schedule as a background artist look like on a given episode of SpongeBob? Does it vary by what show you work on?
It does. Usually it's broken down like production wise. You have background designers, which is what I am. And then when it gets shipped overseas, you have BG layout people and then BG paint. So I've done those two my whole time. And SpongeBob's my first time being a background designer, which is where I'm making the keys and
Weren't you
the
doing?
different.
I could be totally fucking this up. I swear you were doing background on some little frog show, Breadmen. Breadwinner.
Breadwinners.
Yes,
Breadwinners.
yes, that
That's
one.
cool.
Was that not? Were you not doing background on that?
That was it. That was doing background and paint for it.
Word.
I love working on that. Actually, I think working that helped me get my job on SpongeBob because I mentioned working on it, how fun it was, and the people who made it are all SpongeBob people, as far as I
Oh,
know.
crisp.
Very
Have you
cool.
ever gotten in trouble? Because you were like the eternal shit poster. And I know you try to hide a lot of like jokes and your characters. Like I remember you put the little Prat dragon in some show, right? Or am I missing?
Yeah, in the Captain Underpants Netflix show.
That's so sick. Has it
all-
ever happened where they're like,
That
Prat,
is
you
sick.
need to remove the man with the 9-inch penis you drew in the background?
Yeah, it's a little obvious. It's a little. No,
on the nose.
the thing is like when I was working at Titmouse, I got that reputation for throwing in fun little references and jokes. And overseas studios, they don't get paid very much. They just kind of don't. They do give a shit, but they're like, we'll do whatever,
Yeah.
So they'd love that, and they put me on things specifically because they'd love to see the bullshit I throw into the backgrounds of episodes.
That's cool.
Harris, did you just unbutton a button? You're looking swarthy and
Is my
incredibly
titty
hand.
out? No, it was
So
always
little
been
chest
here,
hair,
I'll
baby.
put-
I'm
I'll
getting
put-
hot. A little spicy.
There we go.
You guys remember like 4 days ago when everyone thought Twitter was about to immediately shut down the
That was
next day?
fun.
I
Yeah, it was a fun
certainly did.
I figured it
I
wasn't.
believed it. I was like very annoyed. I'm like, I'm not going to use if Twitter dies. That's it. I'm not going to use anything else. Everything
you
else
didn't-
sucks
I
really
know.
bad.
You didn't do a
It's
last
all
minute
bad.
pit post?
I did do a thing where I was like, okay, here's my Discord. I made like a serious art account because a lot of
Cringe.
industry stuff is over.
kind of cringe. No,
Uh-huh.
but the amount of people who I like totally thought seemed like well-adjusted individuals who were like, if Twitter goes down, I'll never be able to have friends. Like all the friends I know are on Twitter, and it's like, dude, you need to go outside. Like I know that's hard for some people, but you need to go outside and meet like real people. It will greatly improve your life.
It really would. Yeah. We've been saying that. That's like the motto of this
Cold
podcast.
cuts,
It's just
cold
this,
butts.
Yeah.
Please go outside, touch grass.
I think
touch
the
animals.
Patreon.
I'm not entirely that, but
Yeah, no, I don't
I've
know.
always been extremely online. But
But no, I mean,
Well-
based on even just the party stuffs and the things you go to, like you clearly have like a friend group who's
You
not.
also
Yeah,
have a
well-
job in the industry, which is
Yeah.
like
yeah, that
legit.
helps.
Yeah.
That fucking helps. Like I
Yeah.
went from I was like doing like not sex work, but I almost did that. I had no job. I lost my thing with Titmouse, and I nearly like did things. I was doing furry commissions. My roommate at the time was a sex worker, so I was driving him to gigs, and then getting
like
a cut.
to appointments. Oh,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were
to appointments.
Pratt was a pimp.
No,
That's
I was a
dope.
driver.
That's a pimp.
That's
you were
a
getting
pimp.
that is so
That's a pimp.
fucking sick.
Yeah.
because he would get like he would get like appointments. Like, okay, it's very funny the sort of people who'd pick him up because he would sell his wares on Grinder,
Bush.
and yeah, he'd sell Bliss, and then I'd drive all the way out to like these random ass places, like this weird place in the woods with some like construction contractor guy. It was always like these weird, middle class, really masculine type guys who are just like, yeah, I want a femboy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what I was doing for to pay rent, and then things looked out with my jobs right now.
I really didn't
Yeah.
think you could get any cooler, but that is so.
I don't
fucking
think it's very
dope.
cool. It was just it was literally I would go drive, and then I would drive to Popeye's Chicken and get a meal, and then I'd read a book for an hour and then go back to the house to pick him up.
Did you ever, if
crazy.
he didn't pay you enough, did you ever slap
No.
him around a little
Yeah,
bit?
that's some
No.
pimp
I
shit.
think, I don't
That's
know.
some
Yeah.
pimp shit.
No, he did
Oh
try
my
to get
God.
me into it. He was like, I think he told one of his clients that, oh yeah, my driver is like a trans woman. The guy was like,
Based?
Oh
yeah,
Based in
Yeah.
red
really?
pill?
Can I see your friend?
This
Yeah,
thing.
so
Oh my
I got
God.
this close because he would make like $400 per gig.
Dude,
That does sound pretty good.
before Daff and I met, she was telling me about this dude who would literally pay her to put on. First of all, I don't know why every single trans woman owns a boot that is this thick, like those fucking ball stompers, literally. But this dude would pay like
That's fucking
200,
cool.
literally to come over and have her kick him in the nuts. And I was
So
like,
that fucks. That's great.
that's fresh though. That's like the
Yeah.
easiest fucking money you could fucking
Dude,
get.
there's a lot of jobs. There's I have a friend, and his thing, like he would do cam stuff, and like he'd get onto the cam and he'd be like, the person requests like, yeah, can you just like I'll pay you for 10 minutes to be looking at your belly button, being like, where did it go?
What? Yeah.
Yeah, like literally 10 minutes of being confused, like, where is it? Where did it go?
That
What?
is so specific. Where do people get this, like, these fetishes? Like, where do they come from?
Do you think if he stood up too high and showed his belly button that the guy would have just like freaked out and gotten super angry? Did he have to
But
hide it?
this is not what we agreed upon?
Well, no, the
Yeah.
camera would be like facing, his tummy, and he'd just be like confused, like just kind of like, I guess he has an innie, so he's trying to like lift it and like look in there, just be confused, be like as if something got lost in there for
Dude,
10
see,
minutes.
Harris,
fuck,
you
man?
you don't need an animation gig to move out to LA. You move out
No.
here. We're gonna hook you up with Pratt. She's gonna be your pimp.
Let's go.
Digitally find you
I'll
this.
drive you
Yes.
to gigs.
This is
Give
gonna
me
be
That
your
sounds
your
good.
clients. I'll
That
take
sounds
like
good.
100 off the top of what you make. I'll
Yeah.
make sure
You guys
keep
have seen- You guys have both seen that Tickled documentary. Did you ever watch that one?
so creepy, dude.
Have you not seen that one?
So creepy.
That's a fucking weird one. And it's another like dude with like a really specific weird fetish, and they like track him down. I don't want to spoil it.
Those
it's
dudes
just
had
so
to be
weird.
very dumb though, because they're literally like, I don't think this is spoiling
it's
it too
like
much,
a
but
quick
they'd
buck.
roll up. But dude, if you rolled up to a gig and they offered to pay you, and they're like, "Yeah, I need you to lie down semi-naked and be tickled by a bunch of strong, hunky men," like, I don't know if it's because I'm internet poisoned, but my brain would immediately go, "This is for a fetish."
This
like,
is
I
a
wouldn't-
fetish.
I would
Right.
know immediately.
They had to know. They had to know it was for some fetishy shit. But I think they were getting paid like a few $100s when, if you're like in high school or college and somebody offers you a few $100s to like get tickled, you're probably like, yeah, why not? I guess.
Well, dude, that's
like,
one of the ones I wouldn't care, because I know they were threatening, like, if you expose us, we'll show your friends and family, and it's like, okay, I'm being tickled. Like, it's not like they were doing like fucking insanely crazy shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I could live with that.
If you haven't seen that documentary, you should watch it. I really don't want to like
Tickled?
talk more about it because I'll spoil it, and it's like kind of like one of those that you're like, where the fuck is this going? So you should watch it, but it's creepy. It's a weird one. Haven't gets into that shit. Yeah, tickled.
Prat, can you humor us if you were Harris's pimp? How would you tell him to unbutton his top button right now? How would you say that?
This top button. Oh. Yeah, if you don't do it well, I'm gonna backhand you.
Back
But...
me around. Oh my
you
god.
gotta like have like a bit of a tilt and kind of like look up and just like.
Oh, I'm sweating.
I can't do this. This feels like the
look
tickle.
down,
This
like
feels
kind of like
the
look
tickle
down, but
documentary.
you have to look down, so you're just kind of like checking him out, and then like.
Oh my god, man. This is
Did
all
the
on
rest come
camera.
off?
He's like, oh my god. What happened?
Bro, your hair
I'm
progressively.
not.
I feel like we have just the reverse issue. I'm just progressively losing so much hair, and your hairline just looks more beautiful.
Are you
every
talking to me? I thought you were
episode now.
talking about Pratt's hair.
No, I'm not up
Can't
to
see
date
mine.
on
I'm wearing my
Brad's
hat.
hair.
I think your hair looks
I
beautiful.
did have a very funny date. I mean, I just love wearing hats, but I went on a date with a guy, and I think he was trying to be.
This was Stone Toss?
Yeah, this was Stone Toss.
Okay.
No, this is just some random guy off of was it Grindr or Tinder? It doesn't matter. But like, I remember he fucked up. I think he was trying to be like very supportive. He thought me showing up in a hat was like I'm balding, and he was like, he started doing like a thing like, I get why you're wearing a hat. I'm like, what do you mean you get why I'm wearing a hat? I just think it's fun, and like as if I was losing hair and I was covering that up. I've had a lot of like weird interactions where people assume this very insulting thing of me.
Yeah. I just had your high school reunion that I was telling Zach about briefly.
No.
Which was actually like, there was not a turnout. So it was like 10 people. So I was actually a little disappointed because I almost went into it just like, I am so ready for this to just be awkward and see a bunch of people that it's like really uncomfortable. But it was fine. But I will say, almost everybody kept their hair. But there was one guy who showed up in a hat. And I was like,
Did you tell him, I totally get why you're wearing a hat?
I almost
support
like, I almost like Tim Pool snatched it right off his fucking just give me that shit. But
give me that. Show me your dome.
It was especially bad because it was one of those types of, I don't know what kind of snapback you call this, but it's when you see how Pratt's hat has like the adjustable strap, but he was wearing the type that had no
fitted cap.
Just the fitted cap and like backwards and really low. It's like, I can't explain why, but it's like the worst kind of hat. Like it like looks terrible to me, but I could tell it was because he was bald.
I get irrationally angry when I'm hanging out with kids wearing hats and they take their hat off and they have the most beautiful head of hair, and I'm like, that is not for you. That is for us.
It's for us.
That's so I fucking hate that shit.
Oh my god, man.
Absolutely disgusting. Anyway, folks, this was incredibly fresh. Pratt, we would love to have you back on, but again,
definitely.
as I said,
thank you so much. Yeah,
Daphne's
hair.
hair.
No problem. This was fun.
This is very crisp. Send me those screenshots because I need to make sure I was not using the triple parentheses in a negative way. You know what? I think I was subverting the expectation of the triple parenthesis.
Are you just worried that I think, or that I think you said something?
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
No way. Never.
I
I have a Jewish co-host. Okay, so I clearly can't be racist at all. That's how it
Feel
works.
Moses in parentheses.
I know, in parentheses. That's what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. I know you're not anti-Semitic because when we're off pod and we're just talking to each other on the phone, we're just whispering sweet nothings to each other all day.
Gets
all
all
the time, baby.
Fucking hate Nazis, dude.
Yeah,
Bro, and
exactly.
I could never be a Nazi because I love
I hope
Jewish
Ukraine
women.
loses.
I know. I hope, yeah, exactly. I know you're not a Nazi because of how much you love Abby Shapiro.
Those fucking jugs.
I know.
Those fucking jugs.
Is it true? Did she get like a breast reduction? I heard that.
I will
Oh,
kill
what?
myself right fucking
Right
now.
on
if
I guess
that-
that was a rumor. I just remember seeing a lot of people being,
That better not be.
meme frog, distressed over the idea.
God.
She's blocked me because I sent her like a shirtless video. But dude, I
Yeah,
didn't know it was on her.
Typically, a woman would not block you for something like that.
Ladies
no,
love
it's very
that.
weird.
She made a
Ladies
mistake.
love that. No, but it
They
was
love the
on.
hairy chest around them.
It was on her anniversary, which I think was the main reason she kind of got offended. You know what? I totally forgot. I ordered a shirt from you, Prat, which one of my old exes from a long time ago stole. Shitty Kitty, that shirt. I was so
yes.
fucking pissed. But I still have the bubble mailer that you
The
doodled
bubble mailer,
on.
which I doodled on.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
very complimentary. Something about where's the
Yeah, I like doodling in
bar.
all of my little thing.
Oh, I totally ripped that from you. I draw that on everything. I'm shocked the
What?
FBI has not visited. Doodling on my packages that I send out.
Oh yeah, no, it's like an extra little thing people like, and then I'm like, haha, you have to frame and keep garbage around now because it's sentimental.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Based pack rat.
right.
Yeah, I actually have a few packages here trying out soon.
Oh hell yeah!
In my
Oh,
characters.
Yeah.
wow,
Oh, there we
that's
go. That's
sick.
fucking dope.
That's extremely dope.
You should do another fucking fuck waiting to get a show or whatever. You should just fucking make another short with those dudes, not cops.
Seriously.
It's yeah, I mean I'm working on it. We were talking about pitches earlier. Thing I determined was like if you want to make a
Bitches
pitch.
or bitches.
Yeah. The thing which I determined was like, yeah, if you want to do a show, kind of like, do something they would like and like design in a way where it's like, I don't know what else to do. I hope a CEO suit guy knows how to put all the other pieces together on this thing, like deliberately kind of have it half finished, and then the studio can, force their own bullshit into it. I didn't want to do that, so I'm gonna try and go busy pop route and siphon off
tag
my
A24.
sponge. Yeah.
Nice.
And just go and do like a little side animation thing, like on YouTube or something. When I get
That's
the money
awesome.
for that, then maybe have a Patreon, whatever. That's my plan.
Nice.
When I get around to it, when I get bored of working on side projects like Hello.
People with Patreons are grifters. I'm just going to throw that out there.
That's
By the way, if you
true.
enjoyed the episode,
Please subscribe.
patreon.com/coldcuts. We'd love to see you there.
Yeah, that's right.
Some more Vosh episodes, incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
And,
That's right.
yes.
Shout
Thank you
outs,
again.
shout outs. Follow me on Twitter.
Oh,
at
yeah,
Party
right. Plug
Prat.
yourself.
Absolutely,
Plug
yeah.
yourself real quick.
Party Prat on Twitter. You can see my serious work. Sterling Scarlet with an X. I mean, that's on my Party Prat.
Nice.
It's a link on my main Twitter thing, but that's all I have to plug.
Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No problem.
Let's have
Good-
you on
good-
again soon. If you'd like to join us again, we'd love to have you back.
Oh,
Yes.
100%.
Come is shining, I'm blowing, guys. There ain't a straight in sight. We won't stop banging just 'cause people call us gay bags. Don't you know? I just love kissing dudes. I'm gay. Running down the avenue and blowing every dude in the city. If he's femme or just looks pretty, Mr. Gay. My parents